For today's video, I want to continue working with these colors that I've used in a previous video. And because I have the burnt umber aspect, I want to bring in the cadmium yellow to mix in, because it will mix well with the brown. The brown is going to mix really well with the purples and pinks, and the purples and pinks will mix really well with the yellow. So I just wanted to quickly show how I dilute the acrylic paint. So I have these little bottles and I've listed them below if you are interested in purchasing, or just, you know, check them out. And they come with these little nozzles and a little tip closure. But it's a little hard to get the paint in because it's so thick. So you just have to gently squeeze it in. I usually go like this. I squeeze the bottle and then I drop some of the paint in, and then it sucks in. It sucks the paint in. It's perfect. And then I have these little eyedroppers, and I just put some water and I squeeze the water in until I feel like I have enough water in there to dilute it to where it is thin enough so I can kind of sort of like use it as like watercolors. Anyway, so then I'm gonna mix it. And I didn't think I realized how much water it needed the first ones I did. The green ones that I used a couple of videos ago were a little thicker, and you can actually thin these down quite a bit because you want them to move like watercolors. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I don't know if the camera will pick this up, but there you go. All right, let's try it out. We can always add more. It's still a little thick, I think. I'm going to add a little bit more water to it. I let the piece completely dry overnight and now I am ready to draw on it. Recently, I have been really enjoying these Faber-Castell pens, and I have listed them down below. They come in a variety of sizes, including this nice brush pen, which I use to draw these irregular sized lines. I like using the brush pen sometimes because I don't have to go over it again and thicken the lines on some parts. It just does it automatically for me. Lately, I've been enjoying using various sizes of pens just to give the piece a little bit more interest, because I don't use a lot of doodles in my paintings anymore. I'd rather like to let the lines and the things that I do doodle on it speak for themselves. And then I just find shades and shapes in the background that I've created with the colors to find where I am going to put the lines. If there is not much for me to find as far as shapes go, then I just create whatever comes to mind, or whatever my hand wants to draw. I decided that I needed a little bit more texture, so I put some more of the diluted acrylic paint on a brush, and now I'm just dripping it on the paper just so that I have a little bit more to go on when I put my doodles in. That doesn't necessarily mean that I am going to use all of those drops that I created, but it just gives me an extra layer of interest. As I've said before, I don't usually have a plan when I start doodling or putting down the lines, and that's what I enjoy about it. Even though the background sometimes looks very similar, the doodles and the lines that go on top always turn out different, and that's what I enjoy about this process. And lately you may have noticed that, and I've mentioned it before, that I tend to not want to overdo it with many different styles of doodles. The last few videos I have basically just stuck with a few similar doodles. I mix them up a little bit by doing the same doodles but in a different style, such as these lines. Sometimes they are straight lines and sometimes they are these wavy lines that I'm doing here, but generally if I incorporate one style, I like to incorporate it then again in a different, slightly different way, but still the same style, if that makes sense. And this is an example of what I mean. I had these splotches of dots that I created with the extra paint, and I then also like to incorporate these bubbles and the dots that I create with the dotting tool in the white and the black and the gold. I feel like it just ties it all in. without it looking too busy and too incohesive. But every now and then, even if I try really hard to stay within these different doodles and not make it too busy, sometimes the piece just doesn't seem to want to come together. And I kind of had this feeling with this piece that I'm working on here. I don't know what it was. I tried to incorporate similar styles of doodles, but I wasn't feeling it with this one, and I don't know what it was. Do you ever get that when you work on something and you're like, okay, it looks fine, but something just feels off? And I'm not sure if it was that that first shape that I drew with my brush pen. It just looks to me like a burrito, and I can't shake the feeling. So I don't know. It looks off to me, and it's just funny that I can distinguish these feelings. And before, when I would start, like a year ago when I first started out working with this style and working with the neurolines and the doodling, I just doodled and drew and created the backgrounds without having like a feeling behind it, because it just felt like practice to me. Now that I feel that I'm a little bit more secure in my style, I can tell when something feels off. And with this one, I almost didn't post this video because to me it just felt off. I see a burrito with a butterfly attached that is shooting something out of its bum. So forgive me, but that's what it looks like to me, and it's just it cracks me up. So fortunately for you, this will get posted, and you get to see a painting that I don't necessarily enjoy. And I can thank my vacation for that. I was gone for the last couple weeks and had pre-uploaded and saved the previous 2 videos, and I had started working on this one, and I was like, well, if I can't come up with anything else, then I will use this video. And I didn't want to post it, but here we are. So anyway, yeah, what do you think? I see a burrito with a butterfly at its bum. Anyway, this is the finished piece, and I tried to turn it in different ways to see if it would make me feel any different, and in the end it didn't, but that's okay, because I got to be creative, and that's all that matters. So for next video, I will tell you a little bit about my trip and the paintings that I did while I was gone. And while they're already all done, at least I get to talk about them a little bit and show you what I came up with. So until next time,